falling on my head. And just like the guy whose feet are too big for his bed, nothing seems to fit. Those raindrops are falling on my head, they keep falling.
The dream crossover show between All Elite Wrestling and New Japan Pro Wrestling is upon us. That's right, the Forbidden Door will officially be opened this Sunday on pay-per-view. And as excited as I am for that show, I just can't help but feel that the huge flame I once felt for AEW has dwindled just a bit. Am I just being fickle? Am I just being needy? Am I just asking for too much? Absolutely, because we know what AEW is capable of. But hey, don't get me wrong, this isn't a hate video. I've been an AEW fan since day one, and I earned the reputation of being the guy who praises everything AEW does. When I praise them, they say I can never criticize them, and when I criticize them, they say I'm being fickle. You win some, you lose some. Over the past few months, I've had some issues with AEW booking, which is kind of why I haven't been uploading, but that's fine. I just needed a break. It's not that deep, it's just wrestling. So here I am, ready to talk about how I hope Forbidden Door fixes some of the issues I currently have with AEW. The story of how AEW came to be is the stuff of legend, and when I hear legend, I think of today's sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. If you ever find yourself traveling to a wrestling show and you're stuck on a long flight and don't know what to do, then do what I do and pull out your phone, fire up Raid, and dive into the endless amount of content in this game. Anybody who plays games knows that every good game comes with a challenging endgame, and Raid Shadow Legends is no different. Introducing the Doom Tower, a place where the Arbiter locked up a bunch of bad guys who are now trying to escape, so it's now up to us to go in there and super kick all of them. In the Doom Tower, you start off at the bottom and things get progressively harder each time. You're gonna need to build a strong army of champions to get to the top. Personally, my go-to champion is Elhain, who's a rare attack type warrior who belongs to the High Elves faction. There's never been a better time to dive into Raid than there is right now. There's a new event celebrating the summer solstice called the Path of Light, a new set of skins for the amazing Trunda Guilt Mallet, and there's also currently a special Diliana Chase event where you can get your hands on the amazing Diliana. All you have to do is log in and play Raid for 7 days between now and July 20th and you'll get Diliana for free. This is the best time to get started in Raid, and if you click my link in the description or scan my QR code here on the screen, you'll get unique bonuses worth $30 only available for the next 30 days for new players. We're talking a free epic champion Burgess, 200k silver, 1 energy refill and 1 XP boost and 1 ancient shard, so you can summon awesome champions as soon as you get in game. All this treasure will be waiting for you here, and it's that easy. Just click the link in the description and I'll see you in the game. And there's even more. All new players can enter promo code MyDiliana to get 50 XP brews, which can instantly get Diliana to max level 50, as well as a ton of silver. Huge thanks to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring today's video. Is it fair to say that in 2019, AEW had one of the best rookie years, booking-wise, that a wrestling promotion has ever had? I don't know, maybe it was the honeymoon phase and I was just blindly in love with everything they were doing, but I really do feel that the show was structured really well. That first month of AEW TV in the lead up to Full Gear 2019 was just really compelling television. And here's why. Everything felt like it was connected. Everything felt focused. AEW in 2019 had a much weaker roster than they do today, but that meant that they had to play their cards right. They had to use everybody well, and they had to build stars. But out of the things I just mentioned, I think the main reason why I enjoyed Dynamite so much was because everything felt connected and everything was leading to something. There was an overarching story, and part of this has to do with the fact that early AEW was very much the elite show. I would argue that since day one of AEW up until Full Gear 2021, the show was very much about the elite. And yes, even with the arrivals of big names such as CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, and Adam Cole in between all that time, the show was still very much centered around the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, and Hangman Adam Page. And what I loved about this wasn't the fact that a group as talented and world-class as the elite were the central characters. No, what I loved about it was the fact that there were central characters at all. There was an ensemble cast. It wasn't just a one-man show. And what this made me realize is that I don't just want the Elite to be the central part of the show forever, because that would grow stale. But what I do want is a feel of an overarching plot. I want this to feel like a universe again where every wrestler can interact. In my opinion, lately AEW TV has just felt like a bunch of segments just put together instead of a well-crafted wrestling ecosystem with all these diverse characters. In other words, I feel like AEW has been in a holding pattern of sorts lately, and I think I know the reason why. Kenny Omega's injuries that have had him sidelined for nearly 8 months now. It's absolutely no secret that the next big story in AEW was most likely an Elite Civil War, where presumably Kenny Omega and Adam Cole would lead opposing sides against each other. But Kenny Omega, rightfully so, took time off to heal from his injuries after dropping the world title to Hangman Adam Page at Full Gear last year. And as a result, it just feels like things have been put on hold and characters have felt directionless because of it. And yes, I'm mostly talking about Adam Cole here, who did have a world title program with Adam Page, but since then has just really felt like he's being thrown everywhere to see where he sticks. I do feel like Adam Cole has suffered the most from Kenny Omega's injury because a lot of people on the internet, I must specify, have started to turn on him recently. But anyway, what does this all have to do with Forbidden Door? Well, depending on who you believe or not, there are rumblings that Kenny Omega's return is near, and that Forbidden Door may be the place and time for him to make his highly anticipated return. And Tony Khan himself did tweet out to expect big major returns this summer. And besides Miro, who already made his return, the only person that seems to fit that bill is Kenny Omega. If Kenny Omega does return soon, I'm not saying that the show will be magically fixed of all its issues, but what I am hoping is that his return steers the ship back on course and we focus more on the overarching plot that has obviously missed him dearly. Because for better or for worse, Kenny Omega's character is largely connected to wrestlers who are the main focus in AEW. And speaking of characters, I just feel like there hasn't been a major character arc that we can fully invest in since Hangman Adam Page won the AEW world title. And don't get me wrong, we've still had good feuds with good wrestling like CM Punk versus MJF, but I just haven't felt the same way that I did in the lead up to Revolution 2020 when Hangman Adam Page was breaking away from the Elite in the lead up to that crazy tag team match. In other words, I just haven't seen a character develop that well, and that might be a testament to how good and unique the Hangman Adam Page saga was. Maybe we'll never see anything like it again in AEW, but what I will say is that we were really close to having something at least similar in Wardlow until MJF decided to make it all about himself and completely overshadowed what should have been Wardlow's star-making moment. And here's why stories matter more than moments. The moment of Wardlow squashing MJF still happened, but as soon as the next episode of Dynamite happened, everybody was talking about MJF's pipe bomb. That happened almost 4 weeks ago, and MJF hasn't been seen on AEW TV since. And Wardlow, he's still around, but what should have been his star-making breakthrough performance will go down as the night MJF almost walked out of AEW. Now, with all that being said, it does sound like I just hate AEW now, and that couldn't be further from the truth. I do think Forbidden Door looks promising, and I feel like Jon Moxley, who has had a banner year so far in 2022, winning the interim AEW world title would be a step in the right direction to pick things back up again and hopefully build momentum towards All Out 2022. And it does mean that we have the possibility of seeing CM Punk versus Jon Moxley to crown the undisputed AEW world champion with just take my money, please. There's also Blood and Guts to look forward to the Wednesday after Forbidden Door, and judging by the participants in the match, it should be good. That's one thing that I still absolutely love about AEW. The in-ring quality has not fallen. If anything, it's better than ever before. And who knows, we might just see an all-time classic match or two at Forbidden Door. We also have the inevitable third match between the Young Bucks and FTR to look forward to, and that should be nothing short of a classic when it does happen. The point of this video, I guess, is to say I wish we had more focused storytelling like we did in the early days of Dynamite. These days it feels like Tony Khan might just have too much on his plate compared to early 2020 when he booked one of the best builds to a pay-per-view I've ever seen in Revolution. But I do have my hopes that when Kenny Omega returns, whenever that is, we'll see the next big story in AEW begin.